Most people watch Super Bowl commercials to be entertained, but marketers and business owners should be watching them to learn. And today I'm reviewing my favorite 2026 Super Bowl commercials from a marketing perspective. And so what did these brands do right? What can we learn? And what actually matters even if you don't have an $8 million budget? That's right, $8 million. And that may seem like a big price, but marketing expert Gary Vaynerchuk has said for years that it's actually underpriced. In an attention economy, Super Bowl ads still hold the most captive audience in America, and in most cases even surpasses the ROI of viral social media. So which brands crushed it this year? And here were my top 10 Super Bowl commercials with some marketing takes on the side. And if you want to watch the full commercials, check them out in the description below. We start out with Claude AI, and Claude is the AI writing tool that is ChatGPT's biggest competitor, and their series of ads poking fun at ChatGPT, inserting ads into their chat responses, which, by the way, is crazy. It's hilarious and sadly relatable. My favorite is the scrawny guy doing pull-ups and the trainer responding with, "That's a clear and achievable goal," and then promoting Ultra Boost Souls so that short kings can stand tall. There's one with a therapist, there's one with a business coach, and I know all of y'all out there are using ChatGPT as a therapist and a business consultant anyway. I just think it's the perfect light roast in a competitive space. And shoot, it even got the attention of OpenAI founder Sam Altman, who said that they were funny, but even he got a little bit testy. This reminds me a lot of the Mac and PC commercials in the mid-2000s, because if you're gonna take on the 800-pound gorilla in your space, you have to differentiate yourself as the punchy alternative. And I think Claude won an indie-minded audience with this one, and one can only hope that they can keep their promise. This is textbook challenger brand strategy. We're using humor as the wedge, but restraint as the value prop. And Claude isn't trying to out-feature the category leader. What they're doing is they're actually reframing what better even means. And when you can make your audience laugh and self-identify in the same breath, you're not just advertising, you're recruiting to your size. If you can't outspend them, at least out-personality them. Next up, we've got Dunkin Donuts, and man, Dunkin has been killing it the past couple of years with these Ben Affleck spots, starting first with the Dunk Kings and now bringing back what Parade magazine calls peak Y2K energy with Jason Alexander George from Seinfeld, Matt LeBlanc, and Jennifer Aniston from Friends. And I'm usually not a big fan of just leaning into the celebrity. It just feels like low-hanging fruit, but I feel like Dunkin is doing it in a really fun and nostalgic way, and nostalgia is still so underrated in marketing, man, and it's so interweaved with storytelling, and I think if you use it the right way, tastefully, it really does resonate. And what makes this work, I think, is that Dunkin isn't borrowing nostalgia. They're extending a brand story that people already associate with comfort and familiarity. And so I don't see this as just your typical celebrity endorsement. It is cultural alignment and just knowing your audience, and I think that's a big difference. Next up, we've got Google Gemini, and I've got to admit, this one pulled on my heartstrings as a dad, and I think this was a really unique approach for Google's AI extension, Gemini. It features a mom and a son. They're searching for homes, and she prompts the chat to fill the empty room that they're searching for on a realty website with her son Ben's stuff. And it's a really warm and wholesome way to demonstrate what would otherwise just be tech features. Again, I'm a sucker for storytelling, and this is proof that people don't often buy because of features. They buy from an emotional place. Human beings are emotional beings, and I mean, let's be honest, we often glaze over whenever you're just hearing a big list of features. And I think an ad like this wins because it brings a real life, intimate moment to the surface, and it makes text support the story rather than distracting from it. And this is feature marketing done backwards, and that's why it works. The tech disappears into the story, which is exactly where great products belong. I don't think that people really want tools. They want tools that are going to quietly support the life that they already care about. Next up, we've got Hims and Hers, and consumer health brand Hims and Hers went darker and grittier with their ad this year. And man, I like a little bit of risk taking. Their rich people live longer and the wealth gap is a health gap certainly has some political charge to it, but come on, who doesn't love a common voiceover with the rich get the best of everything, and so why don't you? My thing here is I think this is brilliant copywriting, and so many Super Bowl ads are safe and vanilla and honestly just unremarkable. And attention is the first job of marketing, and this ad understood that neutrality is just invisible. Regardless of what you might think of Hims and Hers, what they're trying to say politically here, you can't deny that it got your attention, and isn't that the point? Next up is Novartis' Relax Your Tight End Spot. And I mean, who doesn't love a good prostate screening commercial? Novartis knocked it out of the park with this ad, which for my money is in the running for funniest of them all this year, featuring NFL tight ends George Kittle, Tony Gonzalez, Greg Olsen, Gronk. It shows scenes of them relaxing in a spa-like atmosphere with voiceover from real-life cancer survivor, Super Bowl winning coach Bruce Arians. And I think that when you can make people laugh about something that they normally avoid, you've already lowered the biggest barrier to action. And to me, this is one of those like marketing creative meetings that have gone exactly right. I mean, I can almost put myself in the conference room at the whiteboard now when this first idea popped up and the team is like an improv troupe just going, yes, yes, and I'm not gonna lie, this one might be my favorite. What if I told you that your voice could be the most powerful asset in your business? And what better way to use your voice than starting a podcast? In fact, a comprehensive podcast strategy could be the missing link in your business's marketing mix. But how do you get started and how do you make sure that it actually works? That's where my team at Made by Varsity can help. Made by Varsity is a full-service podcast agency that helps brands and entrepreneurs establish trust, build connections, and grow their business. So whether you need coaching and consulting to get set up, or you need turnkey solutions to manage and market your show from week to week, we've got you covered. Just head over to madebyvarsity.com and book a call with me today. All right, back to the episode. Next on the list, we've got Xfinity's Jurassic Park parody. And again, this is a result of another creative meeting that landed on a that's it idea just perfectly. It asks a simple question: what if Jurassic Park had reliable Wi-Fi? This is a perfect example of using a known world to spotlight a modern pain point. And when the audience already understands the story, your product doesn't need to shout for the attention. All it has to do is solve a problem. There's a lot of incredible AI, CGI graphics going on here. I'm not really sure. It ages down all the original actors, Laura Dern, Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, and I'm sure, by the way, the IP acquisition and the production budget were one of the more expensive of all the commercials this year. But if the 2026 Super Bowl ad campaigns banked on anything this year, it was nostalgia. And there's so many ads just like this one and like the Dunkin one that harken back to that 90s, 2000s nostalgia. So I'm not sure if that's lazy, if it's actually genius, or somewhere in between, but I'll take it. Next up, and continuing the nostalgia tour, we have a really heartwarming spot from Toyota featuring the RAV4, and it shows a mid-90s scene, and gosh, weren't those great times, of a young grandfather taking his grandson on a drive, and now, present day, a now grown grandson taking that same grandfather on a drive himself. And to me, this wins on several fronts. First, it's the storytelling element of how much of our lives are lived in cars, first of all, and how you're much better off as an automobile marketer not talking about features and gadgets. And I just think whoever was storyboarding this hit the nail on the head. It's really simple, it's clean, and honestly, probably one of my favorite automobile taglines in marketing for some time: people are the destination. Come on, well done, Toyota. Next up, we have Emma Stone starring in a black and white horror short film by Squarespace called Unavailable. She's having an existential crisis in a haunted seaside mansion thing over the all too common relatable crisis where you go to buy a web domain only to find it unavailable. Squarespace, even though it's feature rich, they have consistently pierced the marketing veil because they just get the end user. And even though this is kind of a fantastical take on the creative side, it's still a case study in just empathizing with the end user. This is empathy as differentiation, and Squarespace wins not by listing features, but by naming frustration better than even the customer can. When a brand can articulate that pain accurately, trust naturally follows. And trust me, every time I see that real estate agent turned inspirational speaker in Arizona named Brad Chandler, and I've been competing with usernames and domains with this man for the past 15 years, I'm telling you, I feel the pain. Next up, we've got He Gets Us, and I just got to give a shout out to all of my Jesus people out there because this is there more to life than this is just absolutely bananas on the video edit. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not even sure what these guys do, or where they get 8 figures to drop on Super Bowl spots, or what they're even doing the other 364 days of the year. But man, I'm sure that Adobe Premiere timeline looks like a beautiful mess of a masterpiece. And it's not lost on me that the maximalism of this video edit is the perfect paradox to the message of the ad, is more really better? And in this case, the answer is actually yes. And then rounding out the top 10, for me, it's a toss-up between Manscaped's hair ballad, which is absolutely crazy. Just go watch the video. And Raisin Bran's Will Shat spot from VaynerMedia. And these are without a doubt the laugh out loud OMG moments of this year's Super Bowl ads. And they may be the last gasp of unhinged marketing. Everybody wanted to get on like the unhinged train on the back of Duolingo's success the past few years, but I think that only certain brands can get away with it. Unhinged only works when it's aligned with brand truth and it's not borrowed for attention. The lesson here is not to just be unhinged or wild for wild's sake. It's to know your lane and to drive it confidently. Let's just say, I don't think it works for most like car brands or a hotel brand, but for a man trimmer and fiber-based cereal, I will take it. If anything, maybe it just means that I'm getting old and that fiber and nose hair is a regular part of my life. All right, that's it. That's my top 10 Super Bowl commercials from 2026 from a marketing perspective. And if you want to see the full commercials, everything is linked below in the description and you can take a look at that. And here's a takeaway for the rest of us. You don't need an $8 million Super Bowl budget to apply these lessons. Why? Because clarity beats clever, story beats features, and knowing your audience matters more than doing what's trendy. So I got to know, what were some of your favorite ads this Super Bowl and why? What did I miss? Drop them in the comments below. Make sure to like the video and subscribe for more marketing conversations. Peace. Hey fam, thanks so much for joining us on Making Varsity. If you enjoyed this week's content, make sure to tap that subscribe button, share it with a friend, and turn on your notifications so you never miss an episode. For more resources, make sure to check out the description below and feel free to drop us a comment. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.